7 silent winners of this year's NFL Draft. Starting off with Daniel Jones, the Giants pass on adding quarterback competition, and they take a major prospect in Malik Nabers. Wan'Dale Robinson will be a year further from his ACL injury. I think it's clear that the Giants think Jones is the guy. He's recovering from an injury himself, but he was a top 10 quarterback in fantasy points per game back in 2022. No wide receiver threat added for Jameson Williams. He'll operate as the wide receiver 2, still in Detroit. He played above 50% of the snaps in all games following Week 9 when he was healthy last season. He also finished 4 games, including the playoffs, above 17 yards per catch. I think there's an opportunity to grow into that wide receiver 2 role. He was a former first-round pick. Another guy who should operate as the wide receiver 2 still is Rashid Shaheed. No significant wide receiver competition added by the Saints. Rashid finished with over 700 receiving yards as a sophomore last season. He was number 10 in average depth of his target, number 15 in deep targets, number 17 in yards per target, and number 15 in yards per reception. More opportunities to make more big plays. Greg Dulcich avoided Denver drafting Brock Bowers. I do think he beats out Adam Troutman for the tight end 1 position. Troy Franklin was a good value in the 4th round, but he's the only major wide receiver add following losing Jerry Jeudy. Dulcich finished as a top 12 tight end in 5 games as a rookie back in 2022. And back then he displayed the ability to earn targets, produce good yardage. He needs to stay healthy, and he got a new quarterback in Bo Nix. Tampa Bay selected Bucky Irving in the 4th round, which certainly could mean Rachaad White's 77.4% snap share goes down in 2024, but it could have been worse. They didn't go and grab like a Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs in free agency. They didn't go and draft Jonathan Brooks or Trey Benson or Blake Corum or Jalen Wright. White should still be in line for a heavy workload in 2024, and he was a top 10 running back in fantasy points per game last season. The Atlanta Falcons went and drafted Michael Penix Jr. over potentially grabbing Rome Odunze, and they didn't really add any significant pass catchers. This leaves Darnell Mooney fighting for the wide receiver 2 role with Rondale Moore. I understand that Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson will command the heaviest of roles, but Mooney now has that field-stretching role locked in. He had over 1,000 receiving yards back in 2021. And finally, Bryce Young. You can agree or disagree with the Xavier Legette pick in the 1st round, but at the end of the day, Carolina made it very obvious that they want to support Bryce Young and build around him. They added major target earner Deontay Johnson this offseason. Legette brings them great versatility as a guy who can go up and fight for balls and be used as a gadget player. Jonathan Brooks was my RB1, and he's going to be the Panthers' RB1 at some point in the future. Jatavian Sanders was also drafted. He's a tight end that had back-to-back seasons over 600 receiving yards. Carolina also addressed the offensive line this offseason, building around their franchise quarterback. Follow for more.